Good morning, I'm Chris with Everyman Overland, and today I'm gonna switch from this to this. Big light, look, big as my head. Colight reached out to me and said, we've got a number of new lights, is there something you might be interested in? We'd like to do another video with you. I'm like, all right, well, let's take a look. And what I chose is this. This is the 9-inch L5 series from LED Colight. Two of the things I really like about this, number one, it's a 9-inch light, so you can see it's a lot bigger than the 6.5-inch light. I think it just kind of fills this little hole out a lot better. I don't know, I'm a child. I like giant lights. I don't know, it's gonna be what it is, but I like the fact that they're nice big lights. They look very cool to me. They still have the DRL or the running light built into them. So in the Trailblazers, you actually get a whole ring around the outside and it's got like this little line that comes across. It looks fairly neat. In these L5s, it's just these two strips that you see across the middle. Now those will light up in white or they will light up in yellow or amber, I guess you would call it. And you can have them set up as DRLs so that, you turn the truck on and it comes on all the time, just like DRLs. I'm not as big a fan of the white DRL, so on my Trailblazers, I have them running with my parking lights so they illuminate in amber whenever the headlights are on, or even if just the parking lights are on, those illuminate in amber. And I'm gonna do the same thing with these L5s. But one of the great things about these L5s is not only are they huge, and they do come in a 7-inch, by the way, if that's too much light for you, is these actually have a dual light setup. You can see across the middle, you have a very highly fluted kind of fog light section where you've got 6 LEDs, and those are gonna disperse light a whole lot more than a regular spotlight would. These are gonna be much more of like a fog light. And then you've got 3 LEDs across the top, 3 LEDs across the bottom that actually shine upwards. They're not shining out, they shine up directly into this like parabolic mirror. That lens right there, that redirects all of that light forward. So you have like a fog light and a super spotlight all built into the same light. So if you need that reach out and touch somebody light, you can do that with these. And then most of the time you're gonna just want, for extra driving light or whatever, you can use that light there in the middle. I think these lights are gonna work out real well for me because most of the time I don't need the spot. But I would like to have, that larger coverage that you're gonna get out of the fog light in the middle. This is also a great opportunity for somebody like, if you don't have a lot of room for many different lights, this will work out very well because these will work just like 2 sets of lights, right? So you're kind of economizing on the space while still getting all the function of 2 sets of lights. So a couple of different accessories that Colight also sent me with this, which I told them I don't really need a harness. This is a fantastic harness. Like, look at the size of the relays on there. You've got these large harness plugs. Everything is already terminated. You've got a switch here with 2 different switches on it so that you've got one set of lights and you've got the other set of lights. You can just mount this inside your vehicle. So really all you have to do is you hook up the power and the ground, and then you run the switch inside and then plug in the lights. That's it. Everything else is done for you. Everything's terminated. Everything has this kind of protective sheathing on it that will protect all the wires, keep everything nice and safe from chafing if they're rubbing on something. It's plenty long so that you can get these lights wherever they need to be and get that switch inside the cab. And this whole harness will only cost you 20 bucks. I mean, that's fantastic. Like, I'm actually gonna rob the 2 3-pin Deutsch connectors off of it because I don't have any 3-pin Deutsch connectors. But if I were to order these, like just on Amazon, it's gonna cost me probably 14 or 15 bucks to order a couple of 3-pin sets. So for $20, you get the whole thing. It's already terminated, it's ready to go, just plug and play. That's a hell of a deal. The other part that I've got here is you can order these snap-on covers. Now you can get these in yellow, like what you see here. You can also get them in black. I know there's actually some areas, some states maybe, where you're not allowed to have exposed off-road lights. You have to keep them covered. I think I've heard that, maybe that's a lie. And then there's of course a lot of people who just like, I don't need my lights all the time. I'd rather not they take rocks and whatever and get all chipped up when I'm not using them. So you can get the black covers for protection, or if you want to run yellow bulbs, if you want to run these as yellow, these just snap right on and then everything's yellow. Just like the wiring harness, incidentally. These are also 20 bucks or 20 bucks a pair. So for $20, you can switch it to yellow. For $20, you can have the black covers, whatever you like. And you can see they've got these little tabs on them and that just snaps, and that's that. So let's go ahead and get this thing torn apart. I think I'm actually probably gonna have to drill new mounting holes in the bumper because not only does this come with massive mounting hardware that I think is bigger than what I've got here. But the holes in the bumper that come pre-drilled from ARB, I think they had 6-inch lights in mind when they did it because they're so far to the outside. And with the 9-inch lights, I'm just gonna want them to sit a little farther to the inside so everything kind of looks balanced. So I'll go ahead and get things ripped apart. We'll get going. So let's take a look at the wiring. Don't look back there at the huge mess that I have. That's all gonna get cleaned up and zip ties and it'll be, oh, they fell down. So coming off of each light, you have a 6-pin Deutsch connector, okay? So only 5 of these are actually wired up. You can see one there at the back that's not wired up. And this is because you have 3 wires that are for your main power lights. So the red one, the black one is obviously ground. The red one is going to be for your spotlights, and the white one is going to be for your fog lights, the strip that's across the middle. So all of these are 14 gauge wires because they use a lot more power. And then you've got these 2 little guys, and you've got the yellow and the white, just exactly like you think it would be. The yellow is for the yellow DRL, and the white is for the white DRL. And you can hook these up if you choose. You don't have to hook these up. The main lights will work just fine without the DRLs hooked up. But if you want the DRLs, these are the wires for it. As you can see back here, I've already got these hooked up from the previous lights. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tap, both of these back into there. This here, I've got main power run for a single light, and then I have gone ahead and ran another power for the second light. This way the spotlights and the fog lights can be on different switches off the switch panel, which is back up that way, and it's kind of a mess too, but it's that way. But that's what all of this wiring is. All of these harnesses and everything come with it. Obviously I cut this piece off of the whole main harness just so I could steal that one connector. If you don't order one of these harnesses, if you already have a light controller and you don't need the entire harness, you can get these 3-pin Deutsch connectors off of Amazon. They're not that expensive. Just make sure that when you do, you get it with this 14 gauge wiring. Don't get it with the smaller 16 gauge wiring. Things won't work out that well for you. So yeah, let's finish getting these wired in, and then I can get everything zip tied, make it pretty.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So there they are. They are in, they are installed, they are working. And they are massive. They're huge. We went from 6.5 to 9, and you wouldn't think it's that much unless you're on the wrong side of a prison shower. But they're big, and you know what? I like them. Probably won't do me much good to actually flip them on for you. You're not going to see much, but I'll turn them on just so that you can see their work. So there you go. You can see the DRLs, and as it turns out, it looks like if you turn the fogs on, it turns on just the fogs, and then if you turn on the spots, it turns on everybody. I wasn't aware that that's how they were wired up, but that's how it is, and I'm gonna live with that, and that's gonna be fine. And then of course I've got the covers here, which I'll snap these covers on for you. These actually look like they're fairly easy to scratch because this was just sitting over there and I already got a scratch on it. Just line these tabs up right there, boom, and they're on. So now I have yellow lights. Great big giant yellow lights instead of great big giant white lights. Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yellow. So now I gotta wait for the sun to go down so that I can make sure I've got these aimed correctly. They're probably awfully close. I just tried to aim them just a tiny bit off of center. This one's just a tiny bit to the left. That one's just a tiny bit to the right, so that you don't end up with one spotlight. You end up with kind of a spread spotlight out there. And then vertically, I just kind of looked at it, right? But depending on how the truck is loaded, if it's got stuff in the back, I mean, that's gonna kind of change the vertical aim anyway. So I think tonight, once it's dark, I will just aim them so that they kind of match up with the light bar, because I've got the light bar where I want it. So just gotta give it a couple hours for the sun to go down, and we'll get that taken care of. All right, so here we are. You can see that I've got my low beams on, right? Just low beams there. So now high beams, and these are the LED Colight Y1 projector beams. Actually, I think they work fairly good. So there's that. I've got some other small flood lamps that I can turn on or other lights, but you're here for these new L5s. Well, here, I'll give you the floodlight first, which is there. So you can see it projects out a whole bunch of light, goes way up into the trees, nice and decently off to the side, though it's not it's not what you would call a diffused light, right? It doesn't go way off to the sides. Like if I turn on my roof light, you can see that actually goes way off to the sides. These are still concentrated on forward-facing light, but this nice floodlight right here just kind of fills in everything, and then you can turn on the super spots within them, which is there. You can see that those project a lot of light just straight forward in that nice little spot. But that spot beam is still, just like I was saying, a whole lot larger. It's a bigger circle than what you would get with the Trailblazers. So there's those, and there's my spot beams, and there's all the light in the world. And I think my alternator is about to commit suicide if I keep that up for too long. So just kind of drive around a little bit here, and here again, I've got my low beams on. There's my high beams, and you can see just like way off in the trees, you can see that they're kind of lighting up. If I go over here, you can see they light up my shop, right? But you don't get the kind of distance that you're gonna want. Like they just don't illuminate like you would want them to. So now, let's hit you up with some spot beams. Boom. So now we can see, look at the trees all the way off in the distance. You know, as we're turning, like this is gonna show you exactly what you need to see. It's gonna show you, it's gonna illuminate all of the ground in front of you as you're going at speed, as you're doing all of your off-road business. And you can see, and that's, my shop is about 14 foot tall, so it's even catching a little bit above that with those floodlights. But look at the clarity, look at the brightness of that light way off in the distance. Now that tree line, I don't have an exact measurement on it, but I would say it's probably about a quarter mile away from me. I mean, these things are lighting up just fine, you know, so you can see that there. And when you combine that with the roof lights that I have, and now I've got all of the light in the world coming off the side so you can see everything there, and that nice fill, like LED Colight is coming through, letting us see anything we want to see. I'll turn that off. So here again, I'm actually going to turn my headlights completely off. So now the only thing that you see there is these new L5s. Just for giggles, we'll turn off. So that's turning off the spots. So now it's just a floodlight, and you can still see it's very effective off at distance. It just doesn't have that super, super bright spot right in the middle. That one right there. So you can see there, if you're up at high speed, and you know, or maybe not even high speed, if you're just at speed, at driving speed, and you want to be able to see a lot farther right there in the middle, that's what you're going to want. If you just kind of want to fill everything in and just be able to see anything and everywhere you're going, these floodlights are perfect. They're awesome. You don't even need to put the spots on. So all in all, and I've been running these for about a week now. I installed them last weekend, got them aimed, and just kind of been running them whenever I can at night. I haven't gone on any crazy off-road excursions or anything like that, but just using them kind of around my neighborhood. And I live out in the country, and so kind of testing how far they can go and under what conditions, where do they look good here, where do they look good there. I'm super happy with these. LED Colight did send these out to me to test them out for free, so I know that you could feel like I'm jaded, but when they reached out to me to say, hey, well, you know, is there something you like? I chose these, right? These are the ones that I wanted to test because I thought these were gonna do what I want them to do, and clearly they do. So this wasn't just, oh, we have this newest thing and we want you to talk nice about it. I chose it. If I were spending my money, that's where I would have spent my money out of their catalog, was right there. And listen, for one set of lights, I'm not gonna steer you wrong. I'm telling you, if you've got the room for a 9-inch light, these are fantastic. If you don't quite have the room, they do have these in a 7-inch light. You can actually find them on Amazon. They're only like $189 or something like that, don't quote me. But they're very affordable on Amazon. So far, I haven't seen the 9-inch. You have to get these off of their website, for which I'll drop a link down below. It's not an affiliate link. I'm not looking to make any money on this. I'm just trying to help save you guys a little bit of cash. And of course, with my 15% discount code, you can save yourself some money off of these lights. I am positive you'll be happy with these. If you can fit these on your truck, you're gonna love them. So that's about that. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, if there's anything, you got comments, or you need to know about something, hit me up. I would love to hear from you. As always, like, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you again so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.